It's been a really slow night at my hotel work, so I thought it would be beneficial to fill the time to start on part three of my review of the hours. And I think part three, part four, and part five will all be character analyses of the characters of Virginia Woolf, Clarissa Bond, and Laura Brown that are I mentioned in my previous review. So I'm going to start with Virginia Woolf, which is really exciting for me. Um, I probably should give some history about her as far as when she was born and all that, but I don't want this to go on for very long. But I just want to kind of give my impression of what I know of Virginia Woolf and how Stephen Delane, the director, brought that character to life through the exquisite acting of Nicole Kidman. I guess speaking of Nicole Kidman, I know for a fact that she wanted to bail out of the project for a couple of reasons, from what I understand. One had to do with she had just broken up with Tom Cruise, her lover, for a long time, and she was in a lot of pain. And she also told Mr. Delane that she didn't think she was up for the role, up for the part. Like she couldn't give it justice. And but he pushed and he pushed and he pushed. Thank God. And so she decided to take the role. So one thing about the physical appearance of Virginia Woolf is that she has a nose like me a little bit, not nearly as big, but it certainly isn't the Nicole Kidman nose, which is a little cute little puppy dog nose. So she had to wear a nose prosthesis. And I remember seeing the poster when it first came out, and I didn't even know who that was. I was like, who is that? I mean, that's how effective that was, and how what a great choice that was to do that. Whether it was Delane's choice for the character, I'm sure Nicole probably came up with it just to help her with her character. So, in the story of the hours, Virginia Woolf is at a period of her life where she has suffered through nervous breakdowns, two suicide attempts, and her husband Leonard, they were living in London. Her husband Leonard moves her out to the suburbs, not the suburbs, the countryside, because he thinks the quietness will, you know, will calm her. I guess he felt like London was too much for her. But the quietness can as anybody who's a creative type and an introvert can it can be what we desire, but at the same time it could also isolate us to the point that we're in our own worlds. And I know I've experienced that big time. So I really relate to that character a lot, Virginia Woolf. But in the story, she's getting set to write Mrs. Dalloway, and throughout the film, she's writing the story, and she's struggling. And what she's struggling with in the story is whether to kill her heroine, Mrs. Dalloway. And she makes the choice not to. Excuse me. And there is a terrific scene that I highly suggest you YouTube it. Just type Virginia Woolf train scene. And in this scene, I actually could do it in a monologue. I actually would like to. I might do that after I do this part. I'm not up for it right now. I'm too tired. But I've done the monologue before because it's so beautiful. But what she does in this train scene is she gets away basically from the housekeepers and everybody, but she's not really allowed by Leonard to leave her own for her own safety. But he finds her at the train, and she, she's at the train. She's at the train station because she wants to get out of there, and she fights for her life, her death, in the scene, and it is so beautifully written. The acting from both of them really is great, but it's Nicole Kidman who does a terrific job of showing us a side of humanity where and I struggle with this as a Christian because I don't think you have the right to take your own life. I mean, I struggle with it. I admit it. I struggle with it. Like abortion, it's like I remember standing up in animal protests and people would always come up, well, what do you think about abortion? And I was like, well, I'm not out here talking about abortion. I'm standing out here for animal rights. But people wanted to kind of change the subject, and that's what I'm doing. Because I'm not going to take a stance on whether I'm abortion or not abortion. And I won't take a stance about whether it's right to take your life or not. But I know when you watch that scene, you will hear this woman who lived, Virginia Woolf, and I don't know if she's. I mean, this is something that somebody wrote. It's fiction, but she defends her right to her own life, to live in what she calls the violent jolt of the capital, meaning London, as opposed to the seclusion of the countryside and the quiet. And she tells them if it's a matter between Richmond, the countryside where they live, or death, she says, I choose death. And, like I said, this film is liberating because in the end, she does not kill the heroine of her character. And yet, Virginia Woolf does kill herself. Um, a lot of people have speculated, I actually have a book on this, that Leonard Woolf was really like a big part of her breakdowns. In other words, he tried to control her so much. And I can believe that because he reads like a true codependent. And, you know, artists do not like to be contained in their art, and they don't like to be contained in their life, and they don't like to be told what to do. And I can relate to that too. Um, but anyway, so this is a very brief analysis. I mean, I could go on and on about what I know about Virginia Woolf or what I read about her. I will say this though, because I have such an you know split side. It is my dream to travel to Sussex, England, because I want to see where she drowns herself. I don't want to go put rocks in my pockets and go drown in there. But if I decide to do that, I would. But I want to go there just because I want to know where she was and what she might have been going through her mind. Although I have some good ideas, but I want to be in that place where she was when she made that decision, and I want to see the river, and that's a dream of mine. That's one of my, what they call it, bucket list stuff. And I will get there, and but I won't get there to do what she did. But like I said, if I do, that is my choice. But then people say, you're a Christian. It's not your choice. God takes you when He's ready, not when you're ready. And that's where I struggle. One of my many areas of struggle. But that's a brief analysis of Virginia Woolf. I'll be honest with you. I saw Nicole Kidman in a movie she was in with Tom Cruise, and I thought, well, whatever. Or I even saw her in Cold Mountain, and I was like, whatever. But when I saw her performance as Virginia Woolf in The Hours, I thought, this woman is an actress of top priority. And then when she came out just this last year with Little Big Lies, the miniseries I talked quite a bit about, and she won a Golden Globe and Emmy for that. This is one of our finest actresses, Nicole Kidman, without a doubt. And her performance as Virginia Woolf in The Hours is one of the best performances I've ever seen on film. It ranks easily in my top 5 of best female performances. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Part 2 will be, I might talk more about Virginia if something comes up, but if not, I'll probably switch to, not switch, but, well, we'll switch to talk about Laura Brown, since she's the next one in the era from 1920s of Virginia Woolf to the 1960s of Laura Brown. So stay tuned. Thank you. Have a blessed night. It's been so slow. I'm about ready to fall asleep, but I'm not. Thank you. This keeps me up. God bless you. Love you.